Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to the PHLY Flyers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Certainly not an ordinary game tonight. Flyers lose 5-4 after opening up a 3-0 lead within the first 20 minutes and 28 seconds of the game. 3-0. And for those of you keeping track at home, little reminder, say you bet the Flyers on the money line at Bet365, our presenting sponsor today and every day. You would have got your early payout about 30 seconds into the second period when the Flyers went up 3-0. And this loss would mean so much less to you because you won, didn't matter. Maybe if you were smart, you would then go, Golden Knights building a little momentum. They're down 3. Maybe I'm going to put a little of my winnings on Golden Knights, and then you win twice.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's how it works at Bet365. JP, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Don't know how to take this loss, though. I mean, obviously, when you have a 3-0 win, typically you should hold on to that. But obviously, Vegas is a tough team, man. They have they have a lot of firepower on that. It's a shootout win. You get the point. And then in the position that we're at this year, obviously, you're still in a little bit of a rebuild. You take these lessons, right? These losses are lessons. But, I just feel like tonight should have closed it out, Bill. Should have closed it out.
You need to be able Vegas, again, like it's the Carolina thing. Listen, you just look at the final score, you go, oh, well, they're so much better. Like, of course, even without Mark Stone, even without Alex Pietrangelo, it's like, yeah, they're still considerably better than the Flyers. But the way the game plays out, you have leads of 3-0, 4-3. You need to be able to close that out. Now, they had plenty of opportunities. Lots and lots of chances to win this thing or expand their lead throughout, especially late in the third period. And I think they had 8 shots in overtime.
They struggled with finishing, man.
The finishing just wasn't there. Even the shootout, Michkov rings one off the post.
Oh,
TK
dude.
loses a handle because he just tried to wait out Samsonov, but looked like Ilya was kind of ready for his first option.
For sure.
So when TK started improving, it was like, and he lost it. But it was, I think there's a lot of positives to take from this game about some individual players. First guy I want to talk about is Matvei Michkov. Vegas building some momentum in the game, scores 3-2. And Mish just takes over for a shift.
Yeah, dude.
He enters the zone and sets Tippett up with a pretty nice little drop pass. But Tippett's shot gets blocked. He tried to pull to the center and rip it, and it just it gets blocked away. Mish gets the puck back. Looks like he's going to take it behind the net, but instead leaves a drop again out front. Tries to center it to Tippett, and Tippett just couldn't quite handle it. It looked like it could have been a goal, but then Mish just decides, you know what? I think I'm going to handle this myself, and hammers one, puts it past Samsonov, puts the Flyers up 4-2. 5-on-5 goal for Mish. Those have been hard to come by.
Yeah.
You saw on Charlie's story today. Check it out at allphly.com for diehards. Make sure you sign up. He's a power play specialist right now, Mish, but it's not like he's not creating chances. Now, nobody cashes in all their chances, and I always think it's funny, the NBA, the tracking of potential assists. The guy missed the shot. That's what happens when you pass. It's now out of your hands. But Mish tonight, he had a couple to Tippett, and then to basically with a chance to win the game on the power play. Michkov, high to low play, fakes the shot, gets it down to a wide open Morgan Frost, and somehow Frost just misses everything. If it wasn't the Flyers, I would say it's unbelievable, but nobody has more trouble with the open net than the Philadelphia Flyers. It is it's the greatest rivalry of the season thus far. Philly versus an open net.
It's like Ben Simmons and layups.
And they are losing. Open net is killing the Flyers this year. But I was a very strong game out of Morgan Frost. The highlight package I saw right before we came in to do post game, Like, they highlighted a couple defensive plays early, and Torts really pointed out, like, he liked Frost's defensive play in the last game, his first one back since the scratches.
On that forecheck, man.
And then he was all over the place in terms of scoring chances. Did get a goal on the Ristolainen shot that he was able to tip to put the Flyers up 1-0. But, man, Mish was – this was a game where he comes away with one goal, and it's like this could have been a 4-point night for him. And it's another one of those. We talked about how excited we are about him in pregame.
Oh, yeah.
And this was just another man. And he didn't – it could have been so much more, and he was so impressive tonight.
What stands out to you and what makes you so hopeful about the future is, like, at a young age, this dude has the confidence. And you talk about that fourth goal, but at that moment, you could tell, like, this man wanted to take control of this game and make his stamp on the game. And you could clearly tell there. I mean, dude, in overtime, it was funny because it did feel like Vegas had their eye on Michkov taking that last shot. But Sanheim was the one that was hot.
They were able to – we've seen Mish cut to the center, and when they get that power play. Sanheim, we need to talk about another just incredible effort. But – we've seen – I like watching this chess match of Michkov and the league adjusting to each other. And we've seen Mish, like, a lot of times have that puck maybe on the right wing wall and then come out with it and then take that long shot. And if there's traffic or maybe he creates a rebound, and he's scored on it a few times, now he's passing out of that set and finding a guy on the back door when everyone's maybe looking. But in overtime, it was pretty clear. Vegas was like – make sure you have an eye. Make sure someone knows where that dude is. And the Flyers did use it to their advantage because Sanheim got free a couple times. They basically ran the same play that they ran with Mish, but with Sanheim. Yeah. Sanheim had like 3 chances in just overtime.
I know,
he was everywhere tonight.
He wanted it too,
but,
man.
Something I'm real encouraged by, JP. I've been needing Michkov to shoot more.
Okay.
After his goal, he was shooting about 22%. That was his first shot of the game. He ended up with 4. But he's shooting around 20%. That's really freaking good, especially for a 19-year-old.
Right.
He's averaging, before tonight, like 1.8 shots a game. What if that's like 3.5? Like, what if his average is 3.5, 4 shots a game? How many more goals would he freaking score? Because he's so good at putting the puck in the net and just creating these opportunities. 4 shots on goal tonight. That's second most of his career. He had 4. I think it was in the opener against at Vancouver, and he had 5 at Edmonton tonight. He scored 2 goals. So 4 tonight. That's much more of what I want to see. Listen, the passing and the creativity, awesome, really good, and getting his teammates involved. I think that's a big part of maybe why they like him so much. But be a tad more selfish. Just a tad. Tonight was a really, really good, because it's not like he didn't, again, like he could have had 3 assists tonight. But 4 shots on goal, that's what I need to see out of Misha a little bit more. 5 total attempts, 4 hit the net, played almost 20 minutes, comes away with a goal. It's like, oh, he had a goal. Yeah, that's it. Just 19-year-old rookie, 1 goal. I guess that's okay. But that's just, it's crazy that we've come to expect it already. Yeah,
I mean, against a good team like Vegas, this dude wanted to step up and show out, man. And then he played really well. I thought on both sides he looked really solid. It's crazy. He's so cerebral when it comes out on the ice, dude. He's got eyes everywhere. His vision is insane to me as well. Some of the passes that he makes too, cross ice, and the no-look stuff is incredible too. The sky's the limit for Michkov, Bill, and again tonight against a really good team. He really wanted to make his stamp, and that's it's getting us all excited.
It absolutely is. Another dude who had a little bit more trouble scoring lately, but it's now goals in back-to-back games for him, JP. Sean Couturier, another strong performance out of Coots. He plays over 22 minutes, which, listen, sometimes I'm okay with him playing 20 sometimes. And on a night like tonight, where that top line was really rolling, the addition of Farabee, I want to talk about him in a little bit. Looks like that's a pretty good match. I don't know how Farabee didn't score tonight, but Coots does score a goal on the rush. Goals in back-to-back games for him. 3 shots on goal.
It's a nice
another
shot too.
3 attempts. Yeah, it was a nice shot. That left-handed shot coming down on the left side and finding that far post. Really good stuff for Couturier there. Had a great chance in overtime on a
dude,
a brilliant power move That's some net front. That's going to keep you net front on a power play, being able to do that consistently, pulling the puck from the side, getting it to his forehand, and so close to tucking that right past Samsonov.
It was similar to the play you were talking about before, right? But then this time, Coots came into play right in front.
It was, I thought, a really strong performance for him as well. He also, he ends up being only 50% in the face-off dot, but I think Vegas is really good. They have some very good centermen. But I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing out of Coots right now, getting a little bit of offense going because, listen, down the line, the hope is very much he's just an overpaid 3C. A really good one, but just an overpaid 3C. But he needs to provide some offense. I've compared him a lot to like what Jordan Staal is for Carolina. But Jordan Staal still scores a little bit for them. And that's what we need out of Couturier. We need those 40-ish or so points, maybe 50 points. And it's nice that he's getting rewarded for his efforts right now, and hopefully he can just keep it up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, we talk about it all the time. Like, we know Coots can score. And, I mean, at this age, obviously, with the injuries, it is a little bit tough. But especially, like, when you're talking about a team that does lack some center depth and we know what Coots could be, it is really nice to get some more out of Sean Couturier. And we'll see. And, obviously, continuity with the lines is going to be big as well. And I'm sure we're talking about that line. But it seems like that line worked pretty damn well.
Yeah, I would like to see this kept together. For some reason, I mean, that second line with Frost and Michkov, I guess Tippett is your best option there. He was a little better tonight than he'd been, and they rewarded him with the ice time. But that top line we know what Travis Konechny is. He's a stud. Like, he's really, really good, and he's pretty good basically, every single night. He's their best player. Adding Farabee to that line seems to have really juiced up Joel Farabee. I'm looking forward to Charlie, asking Charlie about what he thought of Farabee tonight. Played almost 20 minutes, 5 shots on goal, 8 attempts. I have no idea how he didn't score it. I feel like all 8 of his attempts were scoring chances.
I know. But the last one, dude, right before the end of the game.
Right before the end of the game, he was right there. He had a few rush attempts, and he was excellent at finishing on rushes last year, at least through the first 2/3 of the season before that went away. But he just needs to get the offense going, whether it's because, hey, he's our only natural left winger. We want to keep him, even if it's in a second or third line role, whatever it might be. Tonight he's on the first line and looked pretty damn good, even though he couldn't finish. Or if you want to trade him, you want value for a prime age winger with 50, 60, maybe point potential. Like, it's like, all right, we're going to trade him because we want to shake things up and we like the player or whatever assets we get in return. But he's got to be good for that to be the case. Like, you don't want to sell low on Joel Farabee if that's what you're doing. And maybe he ends up, maybe this is a spot he can stick. Maybe him and Couturier are just a really good duo. And that can be one of your 2 middle lines somewhere down the road where you're not asking them to play 20 minutes and be the catalyst for the offense. Like, maybe that's their role. But whatever it is, I just need more out of Joel Farabee. And I think tonight was hopefully a step in the direction of him looking much more like the player we saw for the first 2/3 of last season.
Yeah, dude, I hope so, because like there was one point in time a couple years ago, not that long ago, where we thought Farabee was the future of this team, and we had hopes that he would be the one on the Stanley Cup contending team as one of the wingers. And like you talked about, you do need the left wing depth, but I really hope he does stick, man. And hopefully with playing on this line, getting some scoring chances, he's building some confidence up, because you do know he's got the talent, Bill.
He absolutely does. We've seen, like, I got in a conversation, I think on Twitter today, about like some of the underperforming guys and when can we start saying it's the coaching. I don't know, like, other than Owen Tippett, I don't know how much better a lot of these guys can be. Like, we talked in pregame, like, this is just kind of what Morgan Frost does every year. Like, yeah, the first 2 months, he's no good. Like, it takes him like 20 games or so to really get into the season. And then maybe tonight was the start of that. Tonight was game 18, I think, for Frost. He scores the goal. He played really well. But, like, end of the day, you're going to look and go, oh, yeah, he was like half a point a game player, and he was pretty good. But it's because the bunches that he scores in and how he's a slow starter. Maybe that's just who Morgan Frost is. Like maybe Joel Farabee is just a 20, 22 goal, 45-ish point guy. Like maybe that's just what he is. I really hope he's more though.
Yeah, I mean, consistency's been the main thing with him because, like, I think back, like, even like the bubble or like even
he's shown flashes,
right? Even 21 when that was a terrible year. Like even when he was on,
one of the few bright spots in that 2021 season.
Exactly, like when he was on the line with like Kevin Hayes and Scott Lawton, like he seemed really comfortable. And maybe that's really what it is, Bill. Maybe he just needs some continuity with the line because, dude, like he's shown flashes.
He has, and when he's gotten like extended time with Bobby Brink, he's shown really good chemistry with him. Charlie always praises Farabee's like hockey IQ. And I think because maybe he's not like the fastest skater or doesn't have the most dynamic offensive skill set, he can score a little, but he's not ever going to score 40.
Right.
I just like maybe it doesn't always show itself, but whenever he gets a few games in a row with somebody, he seems to have good chemistry with them. So I would like to see this line kept together for at least a little bit because I need to get something more out of Joel Farabee, man. Like, I don't think he's a first-line player. No. I think that's pretty obvious now.
Right.
That's not who he's going to be. But as a good depth piece, whether it's on this team or you trade him to another one, he's shown enough flashes to be like, yo, a lot of teams could use a 20-goal, 40-point left winger.
Yeah.
Like I know scoring's up and those numbers maybe don't mean what they used to mean, but you still need someone to do that thing. And I think he's capable of it. He's off to a really slow start this year. I've liked what I've seen. Maybe you want to see him live. Maybe you want to get to a Flyers game. They just wrapped up a 5-game homestand, but they got a few more before they go on that Disney on Ice trip. And if you're going to go, there's no better way to go than with Game Time. I sat on that and set it up for so long that Bryn was like, I can see her sweating, like, gotta push the button. When is he? Just go to it. Sorry, Bryn. Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You get curated deals, making it easier to find the best price on great seats. There's the super deal. And listen, the Game Time Picks, that's the new feature. That's what they want me to tell you about. It's the priority. But all the old features that made Game Time the #1 secondary ticket marketplace are still there. The all-in pricing where there's no surprise fees or anything, just toggle on all-in pricing and boom, you know what you're paying up front. You get the seat views, a panoramic view from the seat, so you're not surprised by where you're sitting either. There's the low price guarantee. Game Time matches will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section or row for less. And Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And while we're here, why don't I tell you about TrueMark Financial Credit Union and their newest feature, free Greenlight account for all TrueMark members. We all know how hard it is to win without proper coaching. And if you've got kids, TrueMark has the ultimate playbook for teaching financial responsibility with a free Greenlight account. The Greenlight app is changing the game, helping kids and teens learn how to earn, save, and spend wisely. They can set up savings goals, track their spending, and even get an allowance all right through the Greenlight app. And here's the really cool part. Each kid gets their own debit card, so they make purchases and learn real-world money skills while you still stay in control from your phone. You get peace of mind, and they get the freedom to make smart financial decisions. It's like coaching your kid through their very own financial game. And for TrueMark Financial members, it's all free. With the holidays right around the corner, now is the perfect time to introduce your kids to Greenlight. Get signed up today. Visit TrueMark.com/Greenlight for more information. All right. I got to talk about Risto a little bit tonight. He gets an assist on what was... It's the Morgan Frost goal, the 1-0 goal, Frost in front. A great effort by Owen Tippett, really, to get the puck in the zone, eventually hand it off to Risto, and Risto wastes no time, gets the shot, Frost tips it in. assists in back-to-back games for Risto, and he's had like one run of offense here before. He put up 18 points in his final 37 games of 22-23. That's like a 40-point pace over almost about half of a season there. But that's it. That's really the only time he's ever put up numbers. Over the last couple of seasons, he's really improved his defense. This is by far the best we've seen him look, I believe. I'm really, really liking what I'm seeing out of Rasmus Ristolainen.
Dude, the angle, we thought the goal was Risto's at first. The angle, ridiculous. I'm like, okay, Risto?
Yeah, it was a really good tip by Morgan Frost, but for a couple of the shots, it was like, did he touch that? I don't know, but I think he did. But Risto, yeah, it was nice shot, perfect spot, and he's making things happen right now on offense and defense.
It's making this blue line situation a little more complex. So we talk about it every game, like what's the rotation going to look like when Drysdale comes back, who sits out? And like Risto's just making a case like, yeah, I want to stay here. It is going to be interesting how these next couple months play out as we lead up to the trade deadline.
It is. I think he's probably their most valuable piece right now, especially with being able to retain some of his salary. That will make it very palatable for some teams to bring in a guy who probably is best in a third pair role, but is showing right now, like you see, 21 minutes tonight. Not a bad game whatsoever. In those 21 minutes, they're going toe-to-toe with the Vegas Golden Knights, and he's +3 on those first 3 goals. Like, he's contributing in a major way right now, and that's as much as I've said, I think maybe Saturday when we talked about this, like, well, maybe it's something you do trading Rasmus Ristolainen. Maybe it's something you do closer to the deadline. They probably need to do it sooner than late, like as soon as possible, because in his first 3 seasons, he's healthy this year, looks good. In his first 3 seasons with the Flyers, he's missed about 30% of their games. That's a lot. That is a lot of freaking hockey to miss over the last few years. He's 30 years old. He's not getting any younger. He was the 8th overall pick in 2013.
That's insane,
This is season 12 for him. He's never played a playoff game before. Like, it is time. The world needs playoff Risto. And the Flyers, as much as I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Rasmus Ristolainen, Flyers need to cash in now because his injury history says, like, no, he's not going to play 82 games. He rarely does. Like, has he ever played 82 games?
For the rest of the NHL listening, he's super healthy. He's durable.
Things are going well right now, and that's all that matters. There is no history event. I love when this happens, and the box score just disappears.
Oh, it's the
like
best.
All of the NHL.com.
NHL.com just put the article out for the recap, so it probably just screwed everything up.
Oh, okay. That's how many times has he played 82 games in his career?
I'm going to say zilch.
1. It looks like 2019-20 he probably played every game.
Really?
But it's 69 games. That's about how many games every team played before the stoppage. So it looks like he's played every game twice, and one of those is a shortened season. Like, he's probably not going to play all 82.
Probably not.
He has less. The second he gets hurt, teams are like, well, he gets hurt, and he's hurt now. Like, you lose value. Typically, these things wait a little longer, but, man, a lot of teams could probably use a big right-handed defenseman who's playing a little two-way hockey right now. It seems like some trades are heating up. Why not Risto?
I mean, if you have to eat up some of that money, Bill, it is what it is. But if we could Sean Walker, Risto, I'm so in on that decision.
Yeah, I wonder how much, because he has this year and 2 more left on his contract. I do wonder how much the Flyers want to cover money into the future. Like, for just this year, sure. Make him easier to afford for some teams. Great. You get a better asset. But, like, in year 2 and 3, do you really still want to be covering? I guess, like, they're doing it for Kevin Hayes.
Right.
So perhaps you have the appetite for it. Maybe if it's not the full 50%, maybe if you're just covering, like, 30%, like LA is doing with Provorov. Like, maybe if it's something like that and it's a little less than, 2.5, 2.6 mil, maybe they'd want to do that more. but he's playing good hockey right now, and I would love to see them take advantage of that.
I mean, dude, his value is at its highest, and right now the thing is like, he was very physical, and especially like in this day and age, you want those big physical defensemen. But now, Bill, what he's showing you is a different facet of his game, and that's that offensive game. That's just going to make his value even higher.
We've always joked, like, oh yeah, he put up points in Buffalo because like he's getting set up by Jack Eichel on Buffalo's power play, like. Yeah, he was going to. He's playing like 20 minutes a night. He's getting passes on the power play from Jack Eichel. I think they used him net front sometimes. Like he'd cycle down because he's so big. And that part of his game really went away with the Flyers. And they reformed him and turned him into a defensive specialist. And the defense was looking good. Now all of a sudden you have that offensive element. I realize it's 2 assists in 2 games, but it just seems like he has the puck more. He's more confident with the puck. He's carrying the puck more. He skated out of danger tonight in the defensive zone, got it into the neutral zone, turned the corner, gets the red line, dumps it in, and as someone steps up on him, he just obliterated them. Like they stood on the tracks in front of the train. They effed around and found out with Risto, and like, I'm not under the impression, oh, well, yeah, you're going to get a first-round pick. Like, maybe they got a first-round pick for Sean Walker.
You never know.
Take something back, cover some salary. You never know. Throw in a late pick. They give you something. But getting anything for him and opening up a spot on this log-jammed blue line, those are value. Like, opening up the roster spot, that's valuable.
Yeah.
That has value to the Flyers. On top of getting something for a guy who's 30 and doesn't factor into the future.
What was really telling is, remember a couple weeks ago when we had the Cam York injury and he was lined up with Sanheim on that first defensive pairing. Dude, he held his own. And he looked really good next to Travis Sanheim, who's arguably our best defenseman right now.
Absolutely. And this was something we got to talk about Sanheim. Just wanted to check all the TOI tonight. Sanheim, 27 minutes. York, 22:40. Andrae, 21.5, Risto, 21. So they really leaned on those top 4, especially the top pair, and Sealer, 15-20, and Grans, 14. So not a ton of ice time for the bottom of the roster guys, but they are leaning on these top 4. And yeah, in a game that the Flyers lose 5-4 and give up a ton of goals, like Risto and Andrae are both +3. I realize not always the greatest statistic,
right?
But when every other defenseman is even or minus, and those guys are +3, they played a pretty damn good game considering they played over 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, really, I feel like most of the goals tonight for Vegas either came on really good forechecking or the quick transition, and they stretch you out, and the Flyers were just too far up. And defensively, I thought they looked solid overall.
Overall, there was just really some tough breakdowns, and let's ask Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer about some of those breakdowns when we get to Fedotov's game, some of the goals that he gave up tonight. It is Charlie O'Connor joining us from the Wells Fargo Center. Chuck, you know how we started. Thoughts on the game and any standout comments from the post-game availabilities?
Yeah, there were definitely some comments that are worth talking through, but I guess I'll just go with my general impression of the game first, because it is kind of a cliche impression, but I do think that it's the right one in this game. Like, this is a game where if you're a team that knows how to win, you win this game. And if you're a team that doesn't know how to win, you find a way to lose this game. Because I thought the Flyers played well enough to win this game. And I thought Vegas played not that great. You know, they can play a lot better, but if you're looking at it from Vegas' perspective, this is the kind of game where it's like, oh, right, Vegas finds a way to win this game because they're Vegas. You know, they didn't have their fastball. They had a lot of guys out of the lineup due to injury, but they just find a way. And on the flip side of that, the Flyers, while I thought they played hard, they obviously made some mistakes, but they found ways to lose, whether it was a goal that should have been stopped, whether it was a turnover that shouldn't have happened, whether it was just a weird play that doesn't bounce their way. Like, for whatever reason, you know, teams like Vegas win these kinds of games, and teams like the Flyers lose them. And the Flyers had multiple opportunities to put Vegas away. They didn't. They could have ended it. They don't put them away. And then you have the entire second half of the third period in overtime. They have multiple times to try to find a way to come through. Like, if the Flyers are a team that is used to winning on a regular basis, you think they find a way to score late in the third, or they find a way to score on that power play in overtime. They're just not there yet. And I don't think they played a bad game. I don't want to rake them over the coals for this. It's just that they're a team in my mind that isn't ready to win these kinds of games consistently, and Vegas is a team that very much is. And in my mind, that's the big thing. Like, there were some interesting things that came out of the post-game presser. I thought Sean Couturier, very, very captain-like. Didn't even, that was the first question. It was my question. I didn't even bring up the turnover. He brings it up unprompted and basically says, because I asked, is this a game where you guys just needed one more goal to put them away? And he's like, no, I don't think so. I basically think that we didn't do a good enough job managing the puck in key moments. And I was most to blame on that for the bad turnover at the end of the second period. If we end up in second intermission up 2 goals rather than 1, it's a totally different third period. Look, Couturier, that was a bad play. And he's right to acknowledge that. That said, like, he's not the only reason they lost this game, but it was a captain thing to do. It's what you do. You take the onus on yourself. I thought that was there was a good thing from Couturier as the guy with the C, as the veteran. And then John Tortorella basically said after the game, look, aside from maybe 7 or 8 minutes in the second period where we kind of lost ourselves and weren't managing the puck well, he's like, I liked our game. I thought offensively, this is what he said. He's like, offensively, he thought they created more than they've created most games this season. This might have been one of the best offensive games in terms of quality chances that they've had this year. They did a lot of good things. It's just that teams like the Flyers find ways to lose, and teams like Vegas find ways to win these games, and that's what I think happened here.
Yeah, I thought there was some encouraging efforts by individuals in this one, but overall, Vegas is better, and this is what makes them, the winningest expansion team since like the freaking Flyers. This is why they're so good, because they figure out ways, even like when you said they didn't have their fastball tonight. One of the encouraging efforts I saw tonight was Joel Farabee. Now, he doesn't end up with a point, and honestly, my question is like, how? How the hell didn't he score in this game? But 5 shots on goal, plays almost 20 minutes, had like 8 attempts. I think all of them were scoring chances. What did you think of Farabee and his promotion to that top line with Coots and TK?
Well, he was great tonight, aside from the fact that he didn't score. Yeah. But if you're talking about process, his process was fantastic. And I think with Farabee, it's funny. So when we interviewed Tortorella after the game, I think Jackie Spiegel asked about Joel Farabee in one of the final questions of the press conference. And Tortorella said he believes that Farabee for the past 2-3 weeks has been playing really well, has been involved in a ton of scoring chances. The puck's just not going in. I'm not quite as high on his play over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think he's had good games scattered throughout, and then I think he's had games where he hasn't done much at all. So John Tortorella might actually be higher on Joel Farabee's recent play than I am, but I absolutely believe he was really good tonight from a process standpoint. That said, and we talked about it, I believe, after Saturday's game. I think you asked me about Joel Farabee after Saturday's game, and look, Joel Farabee is an offense guy. He is. When he came up, we thought he was going to be a two-way guy. We thought he might be like a Justin Williams type. It doesn't look like that two-way element is ever going to come around. He's at the age where it's kind of like he is what he is. So if he's going to be an offense-dominant forward, he has to produce offense. And it can't just be in the form of scoring chances. It has to be in the form of goals and assists. And look, I'm a very process-oriented person. And if Joel Farabee has 5-10 more of these kinds of games, he's going to score a lot of points. Because this was a game where created more than enough chances to score. Puck just didn't go his way. What does concern me, and John Tortorella straight up said this after today's game, what concerns me is, can he keep doing this if the process doesn't lead to the results? And John Tortorella said, he's like, look, Joel has a tendency to lose his confidence. And what we need him not to lose his confidence, despite the fact that all these chances he's creating aren't going in right now. We need him to just keep plugging away, and eventually the points are going to come, and he's going to start racking them up if he keeps doing this. But if he doesn't keep doing this, then he's going to fall off a cliff because he doesn't have that two-way element to his game to keep him useful when he's not scoring. So I liked what I saw from Joel Farabee tonight, but given the player that he is and given the role that he has, like, he can't just create scoring chances. He's not a third-line checker. He's a scorer. He's a guy that's in your top 9, ideally in your top 6, and these scoring chances have to start going in. Now, again, process good, so I'm certainly not writing him off. He had a strong game, but he has to start scoring. He just has to.
We've heard he has to start scoring quite a bit out of Morgan Frost. Over the last couple of years, this is just kind of who he is. He takes about 20 games to really get going. last game, Tortorella said he liked his process, thought he was showing some good signs, made some defensive plays tonight, started with the defensive play, scores the goal. But really, the miss of the season, the rivalry, Flyers versus Open Nets, continues, and it is one-sided. It is a beatdown by Open Nets so far this year, Charlie. But what did you think of Morgan Frost now that he's back with Michkov? Another encouraging game, he scores the goal, or is it more a story of missed opportunities?
No, I think it was a good game. I'm not going to dwell too much on that missed shot. Like, yeah, he missed that shot. I feel like part the reason why you're maybe dwelling on it, and I think this is definitely the case for social media, is because it was Michkov who made the pass.
100%.
So everyone wants Michkov to get as many points as possible. So if that pass comes from Joel Farabee, maybe people are just like, that's a bummer. But because it's Michkov, it's like, well, you just missed off an opportunity for him to rack up points for the Calder. No, I think Morgan Frost had a really strong game tonight. Yeah, he misses that one goal, but he gets the one goal early on. He gets an assist on the Michkov goal. He had that really, really good dangle in overtime where he just like that. That's why you don't want to give up on this guy, because he does have the skill. He does have the talent. And what I liked about it, and I actually asked him this after the game, because last game, his first game back in the lineup, it was more defensive. It was the energy was there. The puck play maybe wasn't. But this game, you had the puck play showing up. And I asked him, I was like, was that somewhat intentional where – were you're more focused on kind of building the foundation in game one and then maybe taking more risks offensively in game two? And he said, not really. He basically said, look, John Tortorella has made it abundantly clear to me that my role is to score. So I can't really afford to have games where I'm just good defensively. That's not going to cut it. That said, I did feel freer and more confident in this game, which probably just plays into the fact that he was out for a while and probably had to get a little bit of the handle and a little bit of the feel back. I thought he had a really good game. Obviously finishes with 2 points. Yeah, maybe he could have had more. Most players in this team probably could have had more in this game, given the amount and quality of scoring chances that they had. Maybe Morgan Frost is always going to be a guy who makes people want more, because you see the skill. You see the dangle that he made in overtime. And you're just like, man, if he ever put it all together, maybe he's never going to put it all together in the sense that he's going to be the point per game, 90, 100-point guy that people dreamed he could be when he was racking up all the points in juniors. But this version of Morgan Frost from tonight can be a darn solid middle six scoring center. And I don't know, like I'm working on a piece on Morgan Frost, might be out tomorrow because apparently they're not practicing, so that'll give me time to write it. But I don't know if Morgan Frost fits the long-term plan for this team anymore, but I know he fits a role now because they don't have centers that are offensively oriented other than him. So whether, if they trade him, it's not going to be because they don't need him now. They need the good version of Morgan Frost right now because they need somebody to play with Michkov who's offensively oriented, who isn't going to be taking all the tough shifts. Now, whether he fits when Luchenko's up and Couturier is a straight-up 3C, that I wonder. And that I wonder if, at some point he's going to be pushed out even if he does get it together. That said, on this team in 2024, 2025, the Flyers do have a glaring need for Morgan Frost, and that guy did show up tonight, so that was good to see.
Charlie, hey, JP over here. I wanted to get your thoughts. So heading into the second period, they have a 2-0 lead, right? Emil Andrae gets his first goal, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, there's no way they can, lose a 3-0 lead, and then Jack Eichel gets that goal that kind of spurts to 3 goals in the second period. Was there a moment or a play you could think about where the momentum shift for the Golden Knights? It was a back-and-forth second period, too.
Yeah, it's tough to say because, that second goal, it seemed like the momentum shifted completely in the direction of the Golden Knights. I thought at that point they were just going to run over the Flyers the rest of the game. But then you have the momentum stopper, Michkov, who scores. And suddenly then it's kind of back to start. Flyers are up 2 goals again. It's 4-2. I really think that the turning point of this game, I think Couturier was right. I think the turning point of this game is that goal they score late in the second period. If the Flyers go into the third period up 2 goals, I think they win this game. And again, it was an uncharacteristic mistake from Couturier. I'm not going to kill him for it. He has a bad turnover and then takes the penalty to basically make up for the bad turnover. And then he's not on the ice for when they score on the power play. Maybe somebody else could have won a face-off or done something. So I can't pin it all on him. That said, that to me is the turning point, because I don't want to say the turning point was the first or the second goal, because I think Michkov did a really good job of halting that momentum. and the Flyers kind of were able to sit back and reset and be like, all right, we're up 2 goals. Let's go into the third period up 2. We'll settle down. We'll get this on lockdown. I think it's that third goal that really changes things. And I thought the Flyers had a good third period, but the thing is that Vegas is such a good team. Even when they don't have their full complement of firepower, they're such a good team. They have confidence they're going to be able to come back. You go into that third period with it only being a 1-goal game, you're playing with fire. And I think ultimately that's what happened.
Charlie, a couple more for you. My assessment of Eichel Fedotov tonight was he made some really good stops, but ultimately just not quite good enough. Like, just missed a bunch of makeable saves. Is that your assessment as well?
Yeah, I guess. The 2 goals that he made a lot of really big saves, especially in the beginning of the game when Vegas was kind of all over the Flyers. Or the Flyers weren't that great in the first half of the first period. Then in the second half of the first period, they got really going. But I thought the 2 goals I didn't like. First goal I didn't like. And I saw a lot of people, which I understand, like he was the one who turned the puck over. I saw a lot of people giving Scott Laughton a lot of grief for his turnover on the first goal. To me, that pass from Fedotov, that is not a smart pass to make because Scott Laughton along the boards right there, he is being marked tight. And, like, is it possible that he can receive that pass and either eat the puck or immediately push it up the boards? Yeah, it would have been a really tough play, but he could have done it. But to me, that's Fedotov putting his teammate in a bad position. It's putting his teammate in a position to turn the puck over. So, like, yeah, Laughton makes that turnover there, and ultimately I'm sure he wishes he would have done something different. But to me, Fedotov should never make that pass in the first place because once Laughton turns that puck over, then everyone's in scramble mode. So that's number 1. Number 2, the fourth goal, the game-tying goal, that one, like, it's a shot from a dangerous area, but it doesn't have a lot on it. It kind of slips through him. You could see by his body language after the goal that he was angry it got through him. I asked him after the game. We actually interviewed him. He basically said that it was one of those plays where he was in the reverse VH when the initial pass is made, and he just wasn't able to quickly enough get into the position he needed to be in to make that stop. Like, it was a good play. It was a good pass. But I would like to see a save there, especially given the circumstances and given the moment. So those are the 2 I don't like. The first one because of the playing of the puck, which I just don't think was necessary. The fourth one because I really, really wish he would have stopped it.
No, that turnover being, like, put on Scott Laughton to me is like how quarterbacks get credited with fumbles of bad snaps. And it's like, it was over his head or it was on the ground. I don't know what he was supposed to do with, like, yeah, I guess that's on Scott Laughton, but, like, that's a buddy pass if I ever saw one.
Yeah. And he turns the puck, like, Laughton has a bad turnover on the second goal.
Yeah.
That one you can pin him
Sure.
on. Like, that was on Laughton that sent him the other direction. But the first goal, to me, that's more on Fedotov for kind of killing him with that pass.
Yeah. This is the last one before stars because I just want to talk about Emil Andrae. Scores his first goal tonight of his NHL career. He's +3 on the Flyers' first 3 goals. Today, Torts kind of compared Andrae and Drysdale in his morning skate availability, and it was favorable of Andrae in his assessment. Just like, yeah, he sees the ice better. He just has that part of his game already. How much confidence do you think they have in Emil? They're playing him in the top 4. They're definitely leaning on him for 20 minutes. And how high do you think they think his ceiling is?
Well, I can't speak to how high John Tortorella thinks his ceiling is because he could change his mind in a week. I don't know. I can tell you the Flyers really like him. And I can tell you, I thought he was one of the Flyers' best players, if not their best player in this game. That pairing with Ristolainen tonight, I thought was great. I thought they were strong all game long, making plays, getting the puck out of the defensive zone. John Tortorella praised Ristolainen for how much he's moving his feet right now, which I think is an accurate assessment. And Andre's just playing good hockey. I mean, it's great to see him get his first goal. That was an awesome celebration. He was clearly very pumped. So real happy for him. But to answer your question about where Andrae fits, to me, there's no world where you can even consider sending him.
No.
Like, he's ready. And not only is he ready, like, I hate to even make this comparison because it's a lofty one, but, like, you kind of wonder if he can be like the Sean Walker of this season for the Flyers, where you kind of just fall into a quality top four defenseman that you didn't think was going to be a top four defenseman this season. Like, he's solidifying that second pair, because now that you have Sanheim and York back, like, Sanheim still looks awesome. Would have been awesome if he would have scored on one of his like 5 chances in overtime, but he played a good game otherwise. York is still maybe trying to shake the rust off a little bit, but we know he's a good defenseman. If that Andrae Risto pair can be a quality second pair, suddenly maybe you're a team that can carry play at 5-on-5 again, the way you did most of last season before you traded away Sean Walker. I don't think there's a world where you can even consider sending Emil Andrae down. I also think that I've liked what I've seen from Helge Grans, but that poor play on the 4th goal might have been his ticket out of here.
He is, they gave him a shot, and if he's the first guy up, cool.
Yeah, fine with that.
But he's kind of what he is right now. All right, Charlie, hit us with those 3 stars. Star number 3.
3rd star of the game, I'm going to give it to Matvei Michkov, honestly. And it's primarily because he kind of did it again. Now, obviously, they ultimately don't win the game, but he did it again with that goal to halt their big momentum swing. It was just a moment where it seemed like on that shift, he just kind of decided, like, I'm doing it myself. He was desperately trying to get the puck to Owen Tippett, and Owen Tippett kept flubbing it. And then finally he's like, well, screw it. I'll just get the puck myself and put it in. And he did, which was honestly very funny to watch in real time. But also, it just speaks to kind of the column I wrote about him on Saturday, about the fact that he just seems like he has that knack for coming through when you really need him. Now, obviously, he hits the post in the shootout, so he didn't come through in every moment. But that goal was huge. And really, if they find a way to get to the second intermission up 4-2, I think that is the stopper goal that they need. And I thought he had a strong game overall. Obviously scores a 5-on-5 goal, so maybe that'll shut up those Montreal fans. But overall, strong game, made a lot of plays, came through with a big goal. Matvei Michkov, 3rd star.
Yeah, that's I loved what I saw out of him tonight. 4 shots on goal, second most he's had this season. Shoot more, kid. Shoot more. Yeah. All right, star number 2.
Okay, star number 2, I'm going to go with Ilya Samsonov. Honestly, I don't think he was perfect in this game, but I think he came up huge when they needed him the most, which was those final maybe 6 or 7 minutes of the 3rd period, and then the entirety of overtime. And obviously the shootout too, I guess, if you want to count that. I tend to ignore the skills competition in terms of evaluating guys mostly. But Samsonov, he came through when they really needed him. Maybe if he would have been lights out the entire game, they wouldn't have needed him at that point. But the Flyers control the final 13, 14 minutes of actual play in this game. And the only reason why they don't win that game before the shootout is because Samsonov was that good. He made a ton of awesome saves. For that reason, he's my 2nd star.
All right, Chuck, star number 1.
Star number 1, I'm actually going to go with Emil Andrae.
Oh.
I think he was really, really good in this game. He gets his first NHL goal, and that's an awesome thing for him. But I thought overall, he was just making plays. He was making plays. He was doing smart things. I thought the Flyers' second pair, him and Ristolainen, was their best pair by a pretty significant margin tonight. They drove play to a pretty ridiculous degree. Andrae just looks like the real deal. He really does. I mentioned that Walker comparison. Again, it's lofty, and I don't know if he's going to be that good. But again, they desperately needed someone to solidify that second pair, and I think Andre's doing it. That reason, and the fact that he just had a really good game, in my estimation, he's my 1st star.
You heard it here first, folks. Charlie O'Connor says Emil Andrae better than Lane Hudson. All right, that is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, coming to us live from the Wells Fargo Center. We will talk again. When do they play next? Wednesday? Yeah, we'll talk.
Wednesday.
We will talk post-game Wednesday, Charlie. Until then, enjoy your day off tomorrow.
Sounds good. Well, we'll actually be on StreamYard, right? Because it's a road game. I'm not going to Nashville.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great
stuff.
Yes,
so I'll be doing pregame with you as well, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. I forgot all about that. All right. Charlie on pregame. What a holiday it is. All right. Talk to you then, Chuck.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Charlie.
That was Charlie O'Connor at the Wells Fargo Center. And before we wrap up, I got to tell you about Empire. 1-800-588-2300
Today.
With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and that price match guarantee. I've been telling you, Empire is the place to get new flooring. They're number one. So, of course, number one as copycats. But what those copycats can't beat Empire on is service, quality, or speed. So they just advertise low-quality products at low prices that Empire just wouldn't carry, because anyone who tells you they have the lowest prices, they're putting stuff in your home they wouldn't put in their own. The Empire philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. That's why their product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect styles, and you can see them all in the virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see new floors. Just snap a picture and instantly see how the new flooring will look in your room. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHLY for details. While we're here, man, you talk about flooring. Sometimes you need a little extra up top, too. A little bit on the roof, on your head. That's where Glatt Hair Restoration comes in. Glatt Hair Restoration, now under the direction of Dr. Morgenstern, a world-renowned, that's right, world-renowned plastic surgeon. And listen, new guy, but you still get the same peerless approach to care, same expert team, same unmatched Glatt system, same state-of-the-art location, and same stellar results. If you want to see those stellar results up close, look no further than John Marks. That man was losing his hair, and now he's got a thick head of hair just like me. Maybe not like me, but he's a family man, a little more conservative. He keeps it tight, but it's looking damn good, and it's looking damn good because of Glatt Hair Restoration. Bald is now optional, so if you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself, Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. Regain your confidence. Visit glatthairmctr.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started today.
Feels a little wrong that you have to read that read.
They also do beards, I could definitely, I think, I get the Joe Dirt, it comes in naturally, all white. It comes in naturally, all white, trashy like that. That's what I look like too. It's all right, Joe. It's all right. I
can't with this man.
Listen, it's 11 o'clock. We gotta have some fun. But it is really fun right now watching Emil Andrae. Wanted to talk to Charlie about him, and we got it in, but he is. I know Charlie said it was a little lofty to compare him to Sean Walker. Sean Walker had a hell of a year, and he's doing really well in Carolina. Him and Ghost together, strong pair. But I don't know if he ever gets there. But I have seen so much of Chemo Team and just little things in Emil Andrae's game that if he can be that guy, that 22, 23-minute-a-night dude who drives some offense, is on your power play, maybe he's not a number one defenseman, but he can play that role if you absolutely need him to. I really, he's fun to watch. You saw how excited he was to score tonight.
Oh my God, the joy in his face.
That was a kid who scored his first goal and had no problem telling you this was a big old check mark on his list.
Dude, because he deserved it. He was hunting for that goal for a while now. And, dude, back-to-back years, this blue line situation is fascinating.
It is.
I don't know what's going to happen over this night. And then, dude, around the corner, Drysdale's supposed to come back, right? And now what does Torts do? What does Danny Briere do with this blue line situation as well? But Emil right now is making his case. I mean, you heard Charlie talk about it. Him and Risto were fantastic here tonight. It is some tough decisions to be made at the blue line.
There are, and there's so many extenuating circumstances. Like right now, Zamula's the odd man out. Granz, his time, at least for now, might be up, especially when Drysdale comes back. They don't want to carry 8. That's another reason I think a Risto trade, while he's playing well and him and Andrae together look really good, you kind of need the roster space. I know they don't have a glut of righties to put in that Risto spot, but you kind of need to start making tough decisions right now. You need to start creating space. Like we say, they have nothing but right wingers. One of them probably has to go sooner than later. And I think it goes the same with a defenseman. You can send Granz back down.
Yeah.
You can get Drysdale back in the lineup. You can move some things around. Maybe Zamula is in a rotation sort of thing, because Zamula while it's easy to kind of just write him off, the Flyers have a higher view of his ability than maybe we do. They're not going to just totally bench him, I don't think. Eric Johnson, they don't have a problem not playing because he knows what he signed up for. He's the extra. He gets in when they need him to. But he's crossed the 1,000-game marker now. Like, the point of this season maybe for him, other than being that veteran presence, that guy who's kind of done a lot, a #1 overall pick, won a cup, all those little intangibles that nobody else in that locker room can really speak to.
True.
It's important to have him around, but he doesn't need to play a ton.
Right.
But maybe you figure something out. But right now, like, Andrae, you can't even have him in the conversation of, oh, it's a rotation. He is one of their 3 or 4 best defensemen. Honestly, not even close. He's one of those guys.
He's played himself in there 100%. There's going to be a bunch of different roster decisions. I mean, dude, like, we have 3 goalies too. Like, when Anderson comes back, what are we going to do with that?
Danny has to make some tough decisions pretty soon.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get to one more thing because we didn't really talk about Travis Sanheim a lot tonight. Somehow, like Charlie said, doesn't score a point, which is insane. Because especially in overtime, he had like 3 chances alone.
Dude, he was the man of overtime.
He had a few rushes where he took the puck in, and Samsonov just kind of stopped him. Crazy.
Penalty.
Yeah, he draws the penalty, much like TK did on Saturday. Just effort. Just straight effort to draw a penalty. That's all it was. And I wanted to bring this up because Brandon Graham's season ended probably last night. Tore his triceps.
Still reeling.
I don't think he's going to retire, honestly. I don't know if he's going to go out like this. But either way, Brandon Graham made the biggest defensive play in team history,
100%.
At least since Chuck Bednarik, but probably of all time.
Wow, you went concrete shot.
Yeah, I mean, like, he did almost kill Frank Gifford. It's like one of the most famous photos in sports. Like, it's basically the Ali Liston photo.
I think I have that in my house, actually.
Yeah, I definitely have one in my. It's like basically the Ali Liston photo, but it's him. Like, other than, like, it's Brandon Graham made the biggest defensive play in franchise history. He's a legend, been here forever. And I always think it's important to have guys like that, not just guys like Michkov is beloved. He's going to be beloved. He's our dude. Brandon Graham went through something that, like, I mean, you would have thought his middle name was not Earl Thomas for like the first 5 years of his career, And then he kind of comes on and he's rode that wave. His career arc to me is one of the most interesting we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I think you need leaders like that who have been through personal ups and downs of public perception, all of that. And maybe that's Travis Sanheim. Like, we talked just the other day about, he got traded. Like, he was traded to St. Louis, and Torrey Krug was like, yeah, I'm not going. And that's the only reason. Like, and I just want, like, and now he's taking his game, like, to another level and again. And he's totally taken command of this blue line, like, maybe that can be maybe Sanheim is that guy who's here for so long and has these ups and downs. I mean, I've turned on him 10 times. I've given up on Travis Sanheim so many freaking times. Like, maybe he's developing into that kind of guy. Listen, Brandon Graham is a once-in-a-lifetime sort of person. I got to work with him a bunch. My wife got to work with him a bunch. He's like the greatest dude I've ever met.
That's what I hear, man.
I have no idea what kind of person Sanheim is. If he's half as good as Brandon Graham, like, dope. We have a great dude. But just the player and his arc really feels like maybe he could be something like that for this team. And that's all. I kind of wanted to relate those things.
Dude, just thinking of, like, the history of Sanheim with this team. Like, first, I mean, remember the bubble? He's matched up with Philippe Myers, that defensive pairing.
They looked like something for 1 year, man.
And then they collapsed the following year. Right. And just like that was, and then, dude, the contract extension that Chuck Fletcher gives him, the whole fan base was killing.
Hated it.
Everyone was killing.
I still think the thought process was ridiculous. But before we go any further, we appreciate those of you watching on TV. Head over to allphly.com for more of the show. And yeah, like, I still think the thought process is like Chuck Fletcher gave him a contract on like the eve of the season in which Tortorella was starting, and Tortorella's whole thing is, I'm going to assess everybody. It's like, well, he's now immune to assessment, and you tried to trade him and couldn't, and then his no-move clause kicked in. Now he's here forever. But something maybe finally worked out for the Flyers. Like, it's usually, we give these people long-term contracts and then they don't work out. Like, maybe this was the start of something. I'm just really happy for Travis Sanheim, and I hope he keeps building on it. Man.
He's bought in.
Kyle Dubas in the building tonight. He's the GM of the Penguins, but maybe doing a little bit more scouting for Team Canada in the Four Nations. It's going to be tough to keep Sanheim off that team, I think. And that bodes well for the Olympics in a couple of years. That would be pretty cool, man, if Travis Sanheim, after all this, goes to a freaking Olympics and it's Canada. Like, it's not like it's not Belarus. Like, oh yeah, there's a guy in the NHL, so he's on our Olympic team. Like, it's Canada. It's the hockey place.
Canada.
That's pretty wild that it could be Travis Sanheim. All right, let's hit these super chats. All right, first one is from Corey. Bruh, an entire 6-pack of Coors isn't enough to make me choose chill after that game. Dude. It was the fact that they blow a 3-goal lead. Again, make sure you're betting at Bet365 because you would have won if you took the Flyers on the money line tonight. It's a bummer, but it's also, man, Vegas is so good. And it's not like the Flyers didn't have their chances. They just, I mean, 10 that they didn't finish on that any one of them could have won this game. They had 14 shots in the third period. They had 14 going into the third period, doubled their shot total, had 8 shots in overtime. That doesn't happen. There aren't usually 8 total shots. Vegas had none. They outshot Vegas 8-0 and somehow lose the game.
Yeah, dude.
Unbelievable.
Overtime was for the Flyers.
It was a little ridiculous, Corey. All right, from Gary B., we say, Bill, I hope you choose chill during this game. I got screwed by the Rangers. I went 4 for 5 on a parlay. That's why you don't bet on the Rangers, man. That's why you don't bet on the Rangers.
What's up?
All right, another one from Gary. I felt Beezer, TK, Coots gave surplus value tonight. Yeah, Farabee, he needs to, like Charlie said, you need him to score. He's a scorer. That's what his value is. But if he continues playing this way, he's going to score. TK is TK. He just makes stuff happen every night. And Sean Couturier hopefully has found some offense.
Please.
That is a very big deal for this team.
Oh, 100%. Some centers to score? Come on, we need that.
All right, from Obi-Wan, Frost is as warm-blooded as they come. Obviously a reference to the Michkov cold-blooded comment. Frost is going to get going. I mean, like, he did play really well tonight. It's just like, I don't know. And Charlie's 100% right. Like, if Farabee sends him that pass, we're like, how the hell do you miss? But we don't harp on it. It's just such a great play by Michkov, the guy we want to see rack up points, and it wins the game if he scores. That's the other part of it. It wins the game if he scores, and he just misses. He's a lefty on the right wing side. Like, that's as easy. He is a little deep. If you watch the replay, though, puck comes back out to Mish, and he could have gone anywhere. It's not like he just found a soft spot in the zone. He could have gone anywhere, put himself in a little bit better of an angle, and just got a little too deep, and the angle was a little off. But still, a skill guy, a lefty on the right side, that puck needs to go in. I don't know how he misses. But a strong game for Frost nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Chicago, hope you were watching. And finally, from Vineet Singh, do Sanheim and Andrae make York our best trade chip? No. They need as many defensemen as possible. I'm not ready to trade York. I mean, the second half of last year, York was their best defenseman. Listen, if you can get a 1C for Cam York, yeah, you absolutely have to think about it. Like, I see Marco Rossi's name still out there. I might pull that trigger, but it is for a dude. I would only trade York in a circumstance of getting a guy I think could be a 1C.
Yeah, what are we looking at? Risto, possibly Drysdale if it comes healthy?
Yeah, I think maybe Risto, Drysdale. I wonder what kind of move they would want to trade Drysdale in because, like, it's still the dude we got for Cutter.
I know.
So if you get, say that's like a 1 for a 1 and then it's like a 1 for a 3. But, I mean, maybe you want to swap him for Jiricek? I don't know. Maybe. I think maybe Andrae makes Drysdale a little less important.
Yeah.
To, man, he has to hit. and a little bit more, I wonder if we could flip him. Like, I'm not interested in trading York unless it's for something up here.
I agree.
And Drysdale is like, I'm going to get what I can, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to trade any of those guys right now. It's Risto, it's Frost, it's a winger. Those are the dudes who have to go because they don't factor into the future. You need to loosen up the log jam a little bit here. And that will do it for us. This has been the PHLY Flyers postgame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure you're following us here on YouTube. Hit that reminder bell so you never miss a live show. We'll be back with pre- and post-game on Wednesday, and Charlie will be with us. Woo! Hot damn, for both. Full show. It's Thanksgiving came early. All right. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast as well. Just search PHLY Flyers. Until Wednesday, my name is Bill Matz. That's JP Zapata. Let's go Flyers.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.